Welcome to More Lore, where we give you more lore. I guess that's why it's called that. So, this is a continuation from episode 2 of season 12 and 1, I guess. There's two episodes this applies to, and we're here to talk about fucking Anna Kingsford, and who was a pioneer in women's medicine and just in general was an amazing, she was a suffragette, all the good things from Victorian ladies, but she wrote a lot of books
and a guinea pig enthusiast
and a hot guinea pig lover. I don't think enthusiast is the word. I think she loved her guinea pig Rufus and Piggy, and she carried them around in special baskets she had made for them, which I judge that in no way. So what we're going to do is I wanted to give everybody some excerpts from her book, Beauty and the Toilet, Letters to Ladies from a Lady Doctor. And this was published in 1886, and these letters first appeared in the Ladies' Pictorial between the autumn of 1884 and the spring of 1886. So these were letters she wrote to specific, I don't know what they were, like women, like she made up the women asking the questions, and because she's writing, like there's different names. She'll be like, Dear Laura, Dear blah, blah, blah. So I'm assuming at some point someone wrote in these real questions. But I'm first going to let you know from her preface why Anna thinks she is a perfect person to write such a book. So the writer trusts that her name and medical diploma will constitute a sufficient guarantee of the good faith and serious intent with which the book is put forth. No lady possessing any scientific qualification has hitherto, is that word? Hitherto, so far as she aware, interested herself specially in the study of the cosmetic arts, or attempted to instruct her sex on matters connected with the improvement and preservation of physical grace and good looks. So she is saying that no woman, past, present, or future, has written a book on the cosmetic arts. And so she's really good for that. Then she goes off about how she's both a woman and a doctor. Then she says, advice on beauty and the toilet would be impertinent and unbecoming in a member of the sterner sex, while ladies who lack the advantage of professional education labor under considerable difficulties when dealing with questions which involve technical knowledge of anatomy, physiology, chemistry, and hygiene. So it would be impertinent to talk to men, and if you're not educated, you're dumb. I think maybe what that's saying. So I'm not sure that's the nicest way to put things. She's fucking Anna. She goes through and talks a little bit more about herself, blah, 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 blah. All right, so a partial list of the chapter headings in here that are going to help you on this, understand the scope of the book. On obesity, on leanness, on the complexion, on the hair, on the figure, on the teeth, on perfumes, on baby, on the culture of beauty, grace, and health in youth, 9 chapters, and on the hygiene and cuisine of the sick room. There are 5 chapters on that, because remember, Anna was a vegetarian and loved to tell you about how to be a vegetarian, or how you should be as close to one as possible. So that's, but at least she was talking about keeping your sick room clean.
Like an early vegan CrossFitter. Go ahead.
She really is. Yeah. So, okay. So some highlights from her oh so thoughtful book on obesity. My dear Julia, your account of your struggles with the demon of obesity is really amusing. And were it not that you might not and were it not that you might consider me heartless, I should be tempted to poke fun at you about the various and incongruous dietary experiments you so graphically and withal so dismally record. Indeed, it is laughable to think of you in the character of a female Sancho Panza, compelled at the stem bidding of silence to relinquish the enjoyment of your favorite dishes.
Ah, sounds very kind.
Wow. She is. And then she adds, and pathetically, that you believe you are growing fatter than ever. Obesity is, as no doubt you know, produced by the accumulation of fat in the cellular tissue of the body. And it is usually to hereditary predisposition, often combined, as in your case, with a persistent and incorrigible placidity of temper. First, my dear, my dear friend, you must resolve to become an early riser. Yes, you must positively forego your extra hour in bed after the maid has called you. You must take your early cup of tea while dressing and not while reclining delightfully inert among your pillows. Who among us? I'm sorry, like, if you have the opportunity to recline delightfully among pillows while drinking tea, you do that every day.
Sounds lovely.
Does that sound nice? I would like just one time of being able to recline in a bed drinking tea. That my maid brought me.
Right.
Okay, so then she tells her not to sleep more than 7 hours. And then after you complete your toilet, you go out in the garden and you take a walk. And you've got to walk for at least a half an hour or do some games such as Battledore and Shuttlecock, or even undertake a serious bout with little Fanny skipping rope.
Sorry.
So I think this is really funny. Bear in mind that your mortal foes are, chemically speaking, the carbohydrates, or in more homely language, all sugary and starchy ailments. Eat biscuits, rusk, or toast rather than ordinary bread. Avoid starchy dishes. So nothing has changed. Be keto was just the message of
Low carb.
1886.
People have been telling you to be low carb since the 1800s.
Yeah.
Dang.
Oh, all right, so yeah, and she actually goes like, "Let me add a special word of warning against white bread, and particularly
Rude.
the spongy form of it known as rolls. They are both indigestible and constipating. Eat toasted brown bread." No, thank you.
I just ate a roll, literally, for dinner.
It sounds
It
delicious.
was with mashed potatoes and gravy. It was good.
I just ate tortillas, which is the flat
Oh,
roll.
that is a flat roll. Not mad at
Yep.
that either.
So that's what she has to say on obesity. Oh, one other thing in there. She does also add that you should be drinking water, or if you prefer lemonade, which you've mixed in a small pinch of bicarbonate of soda. Do not drink any more than a half tumbler full of liquid at any repast. In fact, the less liquid you consume, the better. Drinking notoriously increases corpulence, especially if indulged in between meals.
So
She's a
dehydration.
doctor. So, and I will say that, like, a lot of the science about hydration, I know, like, there's a book called Quench that talks about, they're really, like, a lot of it was just made up science, right? And people were like, yeah, eight cups of water a day. That sounds
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Like, there was really never, like, anything behind that. But it wasn't drinking water makes you fat.
No, that's never been, that's not, I've never heard that for sure.
Yeah, but according to fucking Anna, drinking water makes you fat. So don't listen to Anna. You should hydrate.
Yes.
Okay. Don't listen to us. Listen to your
Well,
doctor.
that
All right.
more importantly, yes,
More
listen to your
importantly,
doctor. But also, Anna is wrong that water does not make you fat.
Anna's very wrong. Yeah. So okay, on complexion. So this one's to my dear Laura. I am entirely of your opinion that it is the duty of our sex to be beautiful. I should indeed be sorry. By the way, this fucking Anna was gorgeous, and everybody said so. Everybody always talked about how pretty she was, and
I
so
already posted her picture on our socials, so you can look at our
yeah, you can go take a
Instagram.
look at her.
She's cute.
She was a looker for her day. So I should indeed be sorry were the intellectual advantage now so widely extended to women to lead them to despise or depreciate the cultus of the laughter loving goddess.
Okay.
For breakfast, oh, she gives this again, you know, a lot of for you have a good complexion. For breakfast, she wanted to make sure that every kind of salted and pickled food is to be excluded from the meal. Whether fish, flesh, or fowl, no raw or smoked meats can be tolerated. And
Bacon.
all such things as anchovies, bologna sausage, every form of pork and ham, pat de foie gras, and other greasy and rich compounds must be rigorously avoided. So, no pickled foods with breakfast. Okay, I think I can do that. So, and then no bacon, no foie gras. I'm really sorry, Diana. You've got to take your morning foie out of your
Terrible,
routine.
I
Oh my
know.
God. Do you have gout? What the fuck? So I wanted to give
Yes,
us
you would
a
be
recipe.
swollen. You would be swollen.
She would be very swollen. This is why she needs this cream that she's going to rub on herself. On going to rest at night, the face should be again washed in soft water. She has this whole thing about hard water and how you can soften it using like this like steric lye, and just it's really terrifying. But so she's really into soft water, and she's like after you've been dried, cold cream must be rubbed all over your face from forehead to chin with the hand, and then wiped off with a soft towel. Do not go to bed with the face greasy. It is better not to trust bought cold cream, but to prepare it oneself is possible.
So you put
The
the cream
following
on and then
is
you wipe it off?
you put the cream on, you kind of let it set,
Okay.
and then because
It's like a
cold
mask. It's
cream
like a moisture mask, kind of.
it used to be kind of how you took your makeup off.
Yeah, yeah. Like an
Like
oil.
that
Like people
was
use like the oil now, like for that, right? And stuff.
yeah
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. I can't remember the name of it. There was a really popular brand name it was still a thing when I was a kid. But anyhow, all right. If you want to make your own though, this is what you got to get. You got to
Noxema?
get 1 ounce.
Noxema? No, I'm just kidding.
That is, yes,
Yeah,
Noxema.
yeah.
That's
I love
what's cold.
Noxema.
It's basically cold cream.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited. Sorry.
Okay, so you need 1 ounce of pure white wax, 2 ounces of spermaceti. Where do you think spermaceti comes from? I don't know if I'm saying that right. It could be spermaceti,
That sounds like gross pasta.
spermaceti. So it comes from the inside of a sperm whale's head.
Oh, it seems difficult to obtain.
Well, apparently it was not that difficult because it was just in her recipe book. So you need 2 ounces of that. So gush from a whale's head, and then a half a pint of almond oil, and you melt these together by a gentle heat in a glazed earthenware pot. Then you add 3 ounces of glycerin, 12 drops auto of roses. You stir until nearly cold. Then you let the mixture settle, and then you can add in your own perfumes or other things if you want. So that's a recipe if you want to make it. I don't know where you get some sperm whale shit.
Probably illegal
Pretty
now.
sure is highly illegal. And that's why we don't have any sperm whales right now. Is because of fucking Anna. Thanks, Anna.
Her cold
Killed all the
cream.
sperm whales. Yep. So she has a chapter on superfluous hairs, moles, and warts.
Oh, fun.
The methods by which oh my god, I have to say it again. Superfluous hair of these two varieties. She says there's 4 varieties of like hair.
Okay.
The first, and there's 4 ways that you can remove it. The first and more general way is applying a chemical depilatory.
Hmm.
Depilatory
There.
powder, the commonest being composed of sulfide of arsenic or of caustic lime, and they're used for the purpose of burning off the hairs. But the roots always remain uneradicated and the hairs reappear. So basically, you take some caustic lime, you rub it on your hoo ha, then you wait till it burns, and then you don't want it to burn too much, and then you wipe it off, and then you don't have any hair on your hoo ha. You may not have any skin, but you also you don't have any hair.
That what's in there? Now I want to know.
Last thing I want to put on my hoo ha. I'm just saying. Also, on the hair. In order to keep the hair and scalp in a healthy state, it is, of course, necessary that they should be scrupulously clean. But beware of using irrigations of cold water with the intention of thereby cleansing or straightening the hair. Nothing causes the hair so soon to thin and become gray and scanty as the frequent use of shower baths of cold water. Wrong, Anna. Sorry, every beautician would tell you that is fucking wrong, Anna. That cold water is really good for your hair, and I know because I have to sit in cold water as I get my hair done, and they're washing out the horrible chemicals that I'm putting on my head.
I don't think they were color
She
treating like we do now, though, but also a lot of other things.
Well, I think there may be something in here about that. Okay, so the best wash for cleansing the hair and scalp that I can recommend is by putting it into a quart of hot rainwater, a piece of lump ammonia about the size of Brazil nut, and 2 tablespoonfuls of solution of soft soap. By the time the ammonia has dissolved, the water will probably be cool enough for use. If you prefer carbonate of soda instead of the soft soap solution, a piece about the same size as a lump of ammonia will suffice.
I've never seen solid ammonia. Interesting.
Yeah, get it. Put it in your hair.
Oh,
That'll smell great.
I mean, no.
And she also says to dry your hair well after washing with a rough towel, not quote unquote Turkish. However, else you will get your hair filled with cotton fluff, which nothing is more troublesome to extricate. It knots and rolls in the meshes of the hair and can only be forcibly dragged out with a comb. The wash as mentioned is particularly suitable for fair hair because both ammonia and soda tend to produce and preserve an auburn or golden hue. Bark haired person should use the yolk of an egg beaten up with little subcarbonate of potash or borax and warm rainwater. Some brunes use red wine, the ordinary vin, rouge of continental countries, mixed with an egg and very small quantity of soda. Red wine owes much of the coloring to the skin of the black grapes from which it is made, and it contains, therefore, a large amount of tannin, which is an excellent tonic for the skin and hair roots.
Oh, okay.
If hair
Tinting.
is skin
Natural tinting.
tinting,
Interesting.
so if hair is scanty from hereditary tendency or becoming thin through constitutional ill health, I advise the use daily of the following mixtures: tinctures of cantharides, 2.5 fluid ounces. Yes, that is the beetle toxin known as Spanish fly. So you want 2.5 ounces of Spanish fly. Then you want 2.5 ounces of rum. We're having a good time.
Party.
A half an ounce of glycerin, 2 drachmas. I don't know what that's, some sort of I don't know, some doctor term of basically more ammonia. Put some more ammonia in there. Then 20 drops of oil of rosemary. You mix it, then you add in 9 ounces of distilled water, and you shake the whole thing well together. And then you put the beetle toxin and the rum in your hair. You add the lime and the coconut.
And then it's a party
And
on your head.
And then it's a party in your head that you have not dried with the towel that has the cotton fluff in it, because then you can't get it out.
Yeah.
So those are just some of the highlights from.
I mean, there's little nuggets in there. Like, I mean, I've heard about like using, things with like, the like baking soda to kind of strip your stuff down, or like using egg to kind of help moisturize. Like, there's like little things there that they've carried over.
Borax in your
uh,
hair.
um,
Don't throw borax in your hair.
not that one, but like little things like that to kind of like help. Like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting hearing some of like the little pieces that have carried on. Like, oh no, that's real, whereas like a lot of it's not,
Yeah.
but some of it is.
Yeah, and also how much of this too, though, is coming from a
Doctor.
quote unquote medical doctor.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
It's a lot.
and I get the like. It's not like they were teaching how to make cold cream at her doctor's school.
Absolutely. Right.
So
she was sharing what her lived experience was of things she created and did or were handed to her. And she just happened to also be a doctor, and it worked for her, so she was sharing it.
Yeah, there's a lot. Obviously, there's so much more of this book that I left, did not share with you guys. There's like, it's hundreds of pages long. The baby chapter is particularly fascinating, and it's like about how you should like be like, she was childless, and it was about how you should like be when you have a baby and like after raise them and stuff. But she was childless, and so it's an interesting perspective.
She might not be as equipped to give a ton of feedback on that.
She may just be coming from a very narrow point of view, but also it's, she was still a woman's rights activist too. So, but it is also interesting thinking about this just from the perspective of that, right? As someone who was fighting who did believe in some kind of gender equality, but it's kind of the gender equality of the 1880s, which is slightly different, like
right.
you can't talk to men about cosmetics because it's impertinent,
Mm-hmm.
You can't bother Dr. So-and-so with questions about your nipples,
Right. Yeah. The overall perspective shift is still pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do appreciate someone who was a Christian mystic who had tons of visions, whether or not they were driven by chloroform or not, but who also took the time to write about what you should put in your cold cream and whether or not you should eat rye bread,
Right.
and how long you should be sleeping. And also the fact that we're still like, good God, like that's the same goddamn advice we get today. Like nothing's changed. Nothing ever changes.
Right? Ugh. I don't know if that's reassuring or infuriating or
It's
both.
just kind of it's time is circular, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to get with that.
Yeah.
So
It is.
all right, cool. Well, this we don't generally cheers jerk. We always awkwardly end more lore.
Yeah.
So
So there we go. Yay,
there we
more
go.
lore.
Thanks, guys.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios podcast network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.